so much. People are going to be trickling in, I have a feeling. I'm going to open up today with just some general remarks about the structure of the press conference this morning. But just so everyone's on the same page, we are here today to celebrate Film Day in the General Assembly. This is a day when many of our folks have come to tell the General Assembly how important this industry is to the state. I have several members of the General Assembly with me here today. I'm going to announce them, then I'm going to announce some additional elected officials, and we'll get started with the program. We have Representative Frank Eiler here from Brunswick County, Representative Rodney Moore, Representative Kelly Alexander. Both Rodney and Kelly are from Mecklenburg, and Representative Charles Jeter, also from Mecklenburg County. One of our key members, Representative Ted Davis, unfortunately was not able to join us this morning. He is presenting three bills in committee as we speak, so he has been one of the leaders of this effort and of this issue, and we just wanted to note his absence because he's here performing his work as a legislator and unable to join us. Joining us now is Representative Ed Haynes from Forsyth County. Also with us is Mayor Bill Saffo, Mayor Pro Tem Earl Sheridan, that's right, and Mayor Alan Joines, Mayor Alan Joines from Winston-Salem. I could go through and name every person standing up here with us, but I'll let them do that as they come to the podium. With me are workers from the film industry, elected officials, and people who own businesses that have been positively impacted over the last 30 years by the presence of the film industry. We are off topic a little. I would like to draw your attention to the books that have been handed out. Katie, have those books been circulated? Thank you. Later this afternoon, every member of the North Carolina General Assembly will receive a copy of this book. And if you're looking at the book, it contains 5 primary elements. The first is Dr. Robert Hanfield's study. Dr. Hanfield's study is the only true study that has been performed on the industry by the state of North Carolina. There's a General Assembly staff critique of the study. Then there's Dr. Hanfield's response to the staff critique. There's a Triangle Business Journal article reprinted with their permission, and a fact sheet with the myths and misrepresentations we hope to set right. Film workers from all over the state are here this morning with us, but they are also coming in droves as we speak. They will be taking the books to each one of their respective members. The debate on the extending the film credit is just heating up, and we will be making the case for keeping these clean, high-paying jobs in this state. Please pay particular attention to the first page in the book, the fold-out page. We tried to encapsulate all the myths, misstatements, and wrong thinking on one page and answer those thoughts in one page. That document covers much of what is in the book. Right now, I would like to turn it over to our state representatives who would like to say a word on the issue. I think we will start with Representative Frank Eiler. Frank?
Thank you, Susie. I don't have my high heels on, so. Folks, I'm going to take a little different attitude here. We shouldn't have to be here at all. The only study that's been done that includes all the taxes and income, which includes all the economic activity so far that we found, and it's been done outside the ivory towers in Raleigh, has been done with Dr. Hanfield. And that is conclusive. It's a winner, both in the tax side and the economic side. I had a big conversation last night with folks from Southport where Safe Haven was shot. That's in my district. And Mayor Howard, who had to be another meeting today. 4 of the city council members are in the back row over here, and I appreciate you being here. Raise your hand. And Southport, I was told, has got tremendous tourism. We have golf cart tours showing where all the movies are made, starting all the way back with Crimes of the Heart and going through Safe Haven and whatever's being shot this week down there. But this is a winner for North Carolina in tourism, economics, the economy, you name it. Now, I'm going to give you a movie analogy. It's like Star Wars. There's an article from last August in our favorite newspaper in Wilmington, the Star News, and it's side by side, Wilmington and Atlanta. And Screen Gems is building a facility in Atlanta almost as good is almost as big as the one in Wilmington. And I was told today that Home Depot is building a mega center right next door. The reason for that is they have so many supplies they buy in the economy, lumber and all the things. If you ever see sets being built, you'll know that they're keeping Home Depot and these other stores in business. And a lot of local lumber yards, particularly around Wilmington, and as well as all the stores. They buy antiques. I mean, you name it, they buy it for these sets. But that brought it home to me that this is like Star Wars. I'm going to call it Film Wars. Georgia is an evil empire. and you could almost say the eyes of Georgia are upon us, and I mean us that be voting on these incentives. And the evil empire is coming to capture 4,000 jobs. Some of my colleagues want to surrender and give them away. I don't choose to do that. I think we need to fight, and we have to have at least as good an incentive program as we have now. I just want to extend the date, but other people have other ideas, and we're going to entertain all the ideas. But we've got to fight for these jobs, and to me, it's war, and economic war with Georgia. So I love Georgia, but I love North Carolina more. So.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you. Next, we're going to go through the Mecklenburg County delegation. I'm going to start with the senior member, Mr. Kelly, Representative Kelly Alexander.
Good morning. Senior scary.
Just the senior member, not a senior citizen.
I'm very proud to stand here today and to urge members of the General Assembly to extend the film credits. Now, I represent District 107 in Charlotte, and in that district there was a aging warehouse complex that the film industry has helped breathe some life into. On one side of the street was developed the sets for Homeland. On the other side of the street, the sets for Banshee. And recently I had the opportunity to spend a few hours on the Banshee sets and talk with a number of business people who were involved in supplying a whole host of things, from lumber to catering to you name it, to the set. And I learned firsthand in listening to some of these folk how the industry making a decision to set up in that warehouse, in that district, had helped turn around some businesses, to the point that one gentleman was talking about he was spending upwards of $30,000 a week at the Lowe's nearby. Now, when you multiply that across all the productions that are going on in this state, that's a tremendous amount of economic activity. I had an opportunity to also talk not just to the stars on the set, but to talk to the crew members. And one young lady who is an assistant producer had graduated from the film school down in Wilmington, had started working on the crew and had worked her way up to the position that she had, and had in that process had relocated to Charlotte, was talking about all these other wonderful folks who had relocated to Charlotte, and was talking about it as a career. Now, I don't know about other folk, but in listening to this, in reading the studies, I'm convinced that this is a contributing, non-polluting industry that we need to encourage the expansion of. Now, you know, films are great, and we've done a number of films in places around North Carolina, but basic television production is even better, because that goes on for at least one show is 6-7 months. It's $5 to $6 million of economic activity every month, and North Carolina needs those jobs. It needs that economic activity, and I invite anybody that wants to set up in my district to come on down.
Thank you, Representative Alexander. Representative Rodney Moore.
Good morning. Good morning. Still morning. My name is Rodney Moore. I represent House District number 99 in Mecklenburg County, but little known fact to some and to others, I'm a native Wilmingtonian. And so I remember the first venture in Hollywood with Mr. De Laurentiis coming to Wilmington and filming King Kong, Firestarter, and other films, and it has evolved into a multi-million-dollar business in the state. Now, where my district is in Charlotte, we have a redevelopment project, and I hope that Councilman Autry will join us and speak as well to this. Eastland Mall. If you know anything about what's been happening with Eastland Mall, we have been trying to redevelop it and get some type of film production activity going on. And these credits are the lifeblood of saving jobs in the film industry in North Carolina. Susi, Representative Hamilton gave you some facts. Representative Alexander is somebody I hate to follow behind. But when you drill down from the facts, when you drill down from the data and the numbers, what you get is you get real people. You get the lives that are going to be impacted by the loss of these jobs, not only the jobs that are directly in the film industry, but as Representative Hamilton and Representative Alexander referenced, you're talking about support jobs. You're talking about the carpenters. You're talking about the warehouse stores. You're talking about the caterers, the barbers, the chauffeurs. All of those things are going to be impacted. And also, like Representative Fowler said, we refuse to let Georgia or South Carolina or any other state take our jobs. And we're going to fight to the end. We're going to fight our colleagues who have the narrow-mindedness to try to let this film credit expire without at least a healthy alternative to keep this industry in our state. And we will do whatever we can to make sure that this industry remains. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Moore. Representative Charles Jeter.
I'm Representative Charles Jeter of District 92 in Mecklenburg County. I was told to keep it short, which is really not my forte.
I can attest to that.
I do appreciate Councilman Autry from the Charlotte City Council being here. Rodney Moore's councilman. My Huntersville folks will be here later. To me, it's a consistency of message. It's a consistency of scrutiny issue. When we pass tax credits or tax cuts, we like to talk about the ripple effect. But when we talk about a credit like this, then we say you can't count the ripple effect. And that's what frustrates me. This is a bipartisan issue. There's Republicans and Democrats. There's people from Mecklenburg County and New Hanover County and wherever Frank's from. And he's from the coast, one of those little counties down there, Brunswick County.
The biggest.
To me, it's an issue of consistency of scrutiny. And I think that's what we lack to some degree in this building. I will tell you that one of my concerns, and the people that have film equals jobs buttons on here, you don't have to convince Mecklenburg, you don't have to convince New Hanover, you don't have to convince Brunswick. You got to convince Avery County. You got to convince Robinson County. You got to convince Halifax County. We're on board. We're ready to go. Don't waste your time talking to us today. Go talk to the people who don't necessarily see the benefit day to day. Heck, Jeff Fissel with Rural Hills here somewhere. He may be out there. He may not have made it in the room. He has the amazing maze, which my Charlotte folks will know, up in Rural Hill, which is in my district. We got lost. Me and 9, 10-year-old girls. And it was my daughter's birthday party, and they were coming to pick up the kids. And I'd been in there an hour and a half, and we'd only found 2 of the 12 things. I wasn't getting out. I'd still be there today. I guess they've cut it down since. But Jeff Fissel came and got me and was escorting me out. And I don't think he was going to let me out till I promised to support the film tax credit. True story. And but it is in this day and age with the people we have going on and the things we have to do. Anytime we can put people to work, we should do it. And to me, there's tangible data that presents itself because they've referenced the studies that shows this is a quantifiable job producer if you count everything you want to count. I ask my colleagues to count it the same way they count everything else they try to count in this building. It's a consistency of scrutiny. And if you do that, this by far meets the litmus test.
Thank you, Charles. Awesome. Just a quick mention, another one of the Charlotte delegation, Representative Becky Carney, was planning on being here this morning, and she was unable to get here in time for the press conference. So she's one of the co-sponsors of the bill, and I wanted to make sure she was acknowledged. Representative Ed Haynes from Forsyth County wants to say a quick word.
Good morning. I'm Representative Ed Haynes from the 72nd District in Forsyth County. And if I could, I'd like to call my mayor up here to come stand with me. It's the #1 mayor in the state of North Carolina. This is Alan Joins. I want him to stand next to me because anytime Alan Joins is standing next to you, good things tend to happen. This is who I want to be when I grow up. He knows Alan's here though. I got it right here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to sit up here and repeat a lot of what's been said, but in Winston-Salem in particular, we have the North Carolina, or the UNC School of the Arts. It has a film production program. It's a university that is training our students here in North Carolina to enter this industry. Students from North Carolina to enter into jobs here based in North Carolina. As Representative Jeter said, it's about the jobs. It's all about the jobs. That's what we argue about here every single day. What are we doing to keep jobs in North Carolina? And cutting this credit just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense when we're supposed to be trying to figure out ways to boost the economy in North Carolina, to boost the presence nationally of North Carolina, and in that way, push our state forward. So Representative Jeter and Representative Moore and Alexander had great points, as did Representative Hamilton, when we talk about the fact that Forsyth and Mecklenburg and Brunswick and New Hanover are on board, and it really is about showing the rest of the counties in the state of North Carolina that once you become about arts, once you become about innovation, once you become about doing the things that will press your state forward, that they too will be in that pipeline to have these film and movie production in their counties too. But we all, these counties who have this gift right now, we have to be about helping those counties come into the fold. And I have pledged that I'm going to do that. I know that the mayor of Winston-Salem and all the mayors are going to do that. And we want you guys to support us, and we appreciate you being here today to support film and jobs in North Carolina. Thank you.
I'm going to say a quick word before I introduce Mayor Joins. Ed touches on a very important thing about other counties, but it is notable, and I'm going to say this a million times until you print it and report it, that more than 2/3 of the counties in the state of North Carolina have benefited from the film industry. More than 2/3 of the counties in North Carolina have had filming occur in their counties, and they have benefited from the presence of the industry there. With that, I'm going to ask Mayor Joins to say a few words, and then we're going to turn it over to Mayor Sappho.
Just very, very briefly, just wanted to be here and stand with my representative as well as my great friend Mayor Sappho from Wilmington to say that Winston-Salem, Forsyth County up in the middle part of the state is strongly behind this, and I'm joined with Rebecca Clark, who heads our Triad Film Commission. Rebecca tells me this morning that just in our area, annually $32 million of economic impact. So those are important jobs for us. As we've had to rebuild our economy in Winston-Salem, we've looked at every way to do that, and the film industry plays a key part of that. As Ed mentioned, the University of North Carolina School of Filmmaking is one of the most renowned schools in the country, turning out great individuals. We want to keep them here in this state and keep that talent here in this state. So thank you for being here today and helping to support this. Thank to all our legislative colleagues for supporting this, and Winston-Salem, Forsyth County is firmly behind this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And another quick note, we have representatives from film and production here from Wake County, Mecklenburg, Forsyth, New Hanover, and Brunswick. I didn't want to leave Wake County out. The studio here is represented by Mr. Tom West. Mr. Mayor Sappho from Wilmington, North Carolina is going to say a few words for us.
Thank you very much. This is about jobs, pure and simple. 4,200 jobs in the state, 15,000 part-time jobs. We've got $66,000 is the average wage that these film workers make. These people are part of our community, they're part of our state. The private sector built this industry. Dino De Laurentiis started this many, many years ago. Those studios out at Screen Gym Studios out on 23rd Street are privately built, private industry. And this is an industry that we've had in this community, in our community, but in the state for a long, long time. And it would be a shame to lose those jobs, especially in this fragile recovery that we are in. We've been talking about jobs for so long that to nauseam. And I know that Mayor Joines and all the other metro mayors are doing everything in our power to try to bring jobs into our communities and into our state. And this is a tool. Obviously, you know, the tax credits are an important tool to keep the industry viable and healthy and growing. And it will continue to grow. And I can tell you one thing, talking to the people just from the Iron Man 3 that did that production in Wilmington, North Carolina, one of the main reasons that these production companies are in the state of North Carolina is because of the film workers. And we should be proud as a state that we can go anywhere in the world and we can see productions and stuff and product that was built and done right here in North Carolina. I see an Apple computer here, and everybody touts Apple, but can you imagine going anywhere in the world and seeing a production that was done in your community or in your state? We should be proud of that. Film workers that are North Carolina residents that pay North Carolina taxes are the ones that are making these films happen in our state, and we should be very proud of that. And I thank all of the representatives that are fighting like crazy to keep this tax credit and to keep these jobs in the great state of North Carolina. Thank you very much.
Our final speaker is City Councilman John Autry from Winston-Salem. Excuse me, Charlotte.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with Winston-Salem. Nothing at all. Yeah, we love it.
I do know the difference.
Good morning, everyone. My name is John Autry, and I serve on City Council in Charlotte, representing District 5, which is East Charlotte, which indeed, as Representative Moore mentioned, is the location of the rapidly disappearing Eastland Mall. And it was our hope and continues to be that at someday there will be about 20, 25, maybe 30 acres of sound stages and film studios for the television and film industry to be supported by the city of Charlotte. Now, this isn't just about Wilmington. It isn't about Charlotte. It isn't just about Forsyth County or Winston-Salem. It's about the entire state and the people who live in this state and pay taxes and make a living in this industry. I've heard a lot of disparaging remarks about how these are not full-time jobs. Friends, in a previous life, I worked in the industry, and I didn't want a full-time job because I could work 7, 8, 9 months out of the year and make a very good living and raise a family, make a mortgage payment, make a car payment, send my children to school, pay for their orthodontia off of the film industry. It's about jobs, it's about lives. And if you talk about businesses, talk to H&S Lumber. H&S Lumber in 2009 was on the ropes until Hunger Games came to the state and did their thing. Now, 25% of H&S Lumber's business is supporting the film industry with 1x4s. 1x4s. Not a lot of use for that, but they have plenty of use for those in the film industry. I want to see this sunset clause repealed. We need this business, we need these tax credit, we need these jobs, and we need to keep these technicians in North Carolina. Thank you very much.
Before I open this up to questions, I just want to reiterate a few things. One is over 2/3 of the counties in North Carolina have benefited from the film industry. Okay, again, we have proof through the Department of Revenue that at least 4,200 full-time jobs exist as a result of the film industry in this state. Folks, this is an industry that has been building the infrastructure in North Carolina for the last 30 years. We have weathered the storm. We were there before incentives existed. We were there while incentives were being used in other states and other countries to take the business out of our state. We've seen what happens if the incentive goes away. Frank Eiler and I are very much of the same mind, as are the rest of the representatives, I think, today that you've heard from. This is not broken. It does not need to be fixed. We need to eliminate the sunset, and we need to move forward with the incentive as it is today. We talk a lot about how to recruit business here. The first thing businesses want is stability. They want consistency. They want to know what the rules are. The fact that we're even engaging in this discussion is threatening the industry as we speak. So please, please, please go visit every legislator in the building today. hand them the book, point out the facts, and let's get this done. I'll be happy to answer any questions, as will anybody else on the panel. Yes, sir. Could you give us your name and your...
Well, this industry is unique. It's a project-by-project industry, and they have to plan 2, 3, 4, 5 years ahead, and they need the certainty of what's going to be there. I was in business. It's the bottom line, folks. I mean, if they do a spreadsheet for Georgia and a spreadsheet for North Carolina, whoever wins, wins. And Georgia has coastal venues. Georgia has downtown Atlanta. Georgia has a lot of things that we could duplicate what we have in Charlotte and Wilmington and Brunswick County. So, and I've got a chart that shows almost 80 counties where it's been an impact of almost 80 counties. I think it's in your book, hopefully. And so, again, that's it's unique. It's a different kind of industry. It's not giving Dell $100 million and they go away in 6 years. It's a project by project, and said, we welcome you, and we don't want to. I used the analogy 3 years ago at Hardee's. I was in Hardee's in the 70s in marketing. We were trying to figure out how to get rid of buy one, get one free coupons, okay? And as soon as Burger King stops doing it and McDonald's stops doing it, we'll stop doing it. Well, guess what? What's this? 2014, we're still doing buy one, get one free coupons across the industry. So, again, that's as long as the game is played that way in this industry, we need to play. As far as giving $100 million to a Dell or somebody, that's another story to me. That's a whole different ballgame.
I'm going to challenge your assertion that the tax reform bill went away from using credits. I would say that that is in large part true, except for the fact that in the tax reform bill of 2013, they extended tax credits for NASCAR, and they extended tax credits for jet fuels tax that would benefit U.S. Air. So it seems that the real issue here is that the film industry is not about picking winners and losers. It seems that the North Carolina General Assembly is behaving in that way. Another question? Yes, sir. Hi. The sticking point seems to be the industry in and of itself. I mean, there are members here that will tell you on no uncertain terms they just want it to go away. It's not a logical position, but it is a position that exists. Are there tweaks that could be made to the existing incentives? Certainly. I think that if they would come to the table and have a reasonable conversation about minor changes, then I think that would certainly be acceptable. But to try to reinvent the wheel and to completely change how the program operates, I think that's just, it's another example of where they're confusing business, not promoting it. Absolutely. 4,200 jobs will be lost. And more. Yeah. Yeah, the Department of Revenue numbers are actually showing from 2012 that over 17,000 employees were employed and received a W-2 or a 1099 from the film industry. What we looked specifically at in the Hanfield study to be conservative was just those that met the, quote, FTE, the full-time employment, which means they worked a full-time employment number of hours in a 365-day period. So there are 4,200 FTEs, and the remaining were those that didn't meet the 40-hour a week over a 52-week period, or those that were in a temporary status. But 17,000 jobs is a whole lot of jobs, especially when they're clean jobs. They don't pollute. You tell me. We'll see. We ran a bill, a bipartisan bill, a couple of weeks ago. Representative Frank Eiler, Ted Davison, Representative Rodney Moore, and I, and it has not. It has been referred to committee, and it has not yet been heard. Yes. Hey, Molly. It's a good question. No, not everyone is involved in those conversations, unfortunately. This is a bipartisan effort, but the negotiation does not seem to be necessarily so. So that gives concern. The process will be, if the Senate sends something over to us, we'll consider it. Or the House could try to place this in their budget process. We're doing that this week, so we'll see what happens. Or the House could run a standalone bill as well. So this could take, the process here could take many different directions. Yes? Oh, sure. There are multiple tourism-related businesses that have cropped up throughout the state as a result of large-scale movies being filmed in the area, as well as television productions. Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, those tours are going on in my community on 7 days a week. So you're right. 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 So over the last decade, it's $1 billion of revenue to the state of North Carolina. It's a very big number, bigger than almost any other industry in the state comparatively. So, are there any more questions from the press? Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. We certainly appreciate your support in being here.